I love people. I love animals. I love trees, moss, ferns, clouds, snails, grandmas, toddlers with sticky fingers. All of it. But there are people and places I actively avoid. Not out of hate, not out of fear. Just preservation. You know these people too. You felt it. That drain. Like someone vacuumed your soul just by standing too close in line. Let me give you a real story. I was in the supermarket the other day. There's this little boy, 4, maybe 5 years old. He's not crying. He's not begging for candy. He's just being a kid. Slow, curious, barely moving. And behind him, his father. Short, red-faced, eyes like clenched fists. You didn't need to hear him speak. You just knew. And then he raised his hand. He didn't hit him. Too many witnesses. But the energy in that second, it sliced through the air. The boy froze. And my heart broke. But let's be clear. That's not who I'm talking about today. I don't have people like that in my life. That's not a boundary. That's a damn wall. I'm talking about the subtle ones, the quiet drainers, the ones who smile politely while sucking a week's worth of energy out of your nervous system. You know them. You feel them. People who never say sorry. Not really. Not a real one. The sorry you feel that way type. Or worse. Well, I had to yell at the waiter. How else will he learn? Yeah. No. That's not an apology. That's ego with a mic. And I avoid those people. Because you can't grow with someone who won't take ownership. I avoid the ones who never take responsibility. The manager who gives a terrible briefing and then blames you for not understanding it. The friend who's late for everything, but it's always their dog's fault, or the traffic, or their kid, or Mercury in retrograde. You know what? No, I love your kid. But he didn't make you late. You did. Then you've got the ones who live in a permanent state of drama. You ask, hey, how was your day? Boom. Hour-long rant about the barista, their toxic ex, the friend who ghosted them, the neighbor's dog, the government, the dentist, their childhood trauma, and the poor delivery guy who dared to ring the bell at 9 a.m. And I get it. I do. Life's messy. But when every day is a crisis, when every answer drains your spirit, that's not connection. That's contagion. Because that energy, it spreads. Then there's the species I call the diminishers. The people who can't stand to see someone else shine. They'll say things like, oh, you can't swim yet? I was swimming at 4. To a 6-year-old. Like, congratulations, you peaked in preschool? We all have that one uncle who knows everything, right? Fine. Let him talk. But when someone starts making others feel small to make themselves feel big, I'm out. Because I believe in energy. Not the gym kind. The soul kind. The kind you feel when someone walks in the room. And suddenly, you feel like hiding. Or shrinking. Or needing a nap. And that cost? That subtle cost? I'm done paying it. Even if it's just one drop of energy. No thanks. They're not worth it. Not in my home. My home is sacred. A temple. No drama allowed. No passive aggression. No energetic smog. Now here's the real kicker. But what if you can't avoid them? What if they sit 2 desks away? What if they're not just one person, but the whole damn place? See, sometimes it's not just one energy-draining human. It's the environment, the system, the culture. And then it's no longer about avoiding one conversation. It's about preserving your energy every day. Because toxic work environments don't just annoy you. They deplete you. Quietly. Slowly. Until your Sunday night already feels like a Monday morning panic attack. And if that's happening, You don't just have an annoying job, you have an energy leak disguised as employment. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the places where your energy gets stolen. Not by workload, but by dysfunction. 1. Poor communication. You lose energy when you don't know what's going on. When departments don't speak. When messages contradict. When the same email is sent 4 times with 4 different meanings. You're not just confused, you're spending mental energy untangling chaos, and that's energy you don't get back. 2. Cliques, gossip, and subtle exclusion. Nothing drains energy like constantly scanning the room. Am I in? Am I out? Are they talking about me? That background tension? That social static? It eats away at your presence. A healthy team gives energy. A toxic one steals it silently. 3. Bad leadership. When leaders don't lead, don't listen, or don't take ownership, the weight slides downhill, onto you. You're doing damage control, emotional buffering, trying to manage up, sideways, backwards. That's not your job. That's a full-time leak. 4. Unmotivated colleagues. You're trying, they're coasting, you want to build, they just want Friday. And maybe it's not even their fault. Maybe the culture's beaten the joy out of them. But the result? You start carrying the team emotionally, and that's exhausting. 5. Suppressed creativity. You've got ideas, they say no. Not because it's a bad idea, but because it's new, and every not now chips away at your drive. You stop sharing. You stop shining. You go silent. Not because you have nothing to say, but because the cost of speaking is higher than the value of being heard. 6. High turnover. New faces every week. Good people leaving quietly. Everyone pretending it's fine. But you feel it, don't you? The instability. The extra load. The sense that nothing here is built to last. And that feeling, that uncertainty tax, is draining your nervous system dry. 7. No boundaries. Pings after hours, calls during dinner, urgency without actual importance, and you comply. Not because you want to, but because saying no costs energy too. And slowly, your life starts orbiting your inbox. Your identity becomes responsive. Your rest becomes reactive. And your energy? Burned quietly. 8. Chronic sick days, burnout, fatigue. Not because people are weak, but because the system is heavy. When your culture is built on fear, pressure, or survival, the body keeps the score. And if half the team is running on caffeine and hope, you can't thrive. You're not a bad fit. You're just in a bad field. 9th, no growth, no learning, no vision. You want to evolve, not necessarily climb, but deepen, expand. But here, no budget, no mentoring, no space. So you stay in maintenance mode, week after week, year after year. And guess what? Maintenance mode is a high energy, low return game. 10. Your gut knows you feel it before you see it. You're tense. You're drained. You start Monday already looking forward to Friday. And that feeling? That's not negativity. That's your system warning you. This place, this culture, this atmosphere isn't worth your energy. And look, I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow, but I am saying start doing the math. If the emotional cost of staying is higher than the financial cost of leaving, you already have your answer. Because this life, this body, this energy, it's all you've got. Don't spend it on places that won't refill it. Your energy is sacred. Treat it like it. But look, what drains me might not touch you. And what lights you up might quietly empty me out. For me, it's these kinds of people. These kinds of places. And walking around them, it helps. It really does. It helps me move through the day a little lighter, a little more me. Not dramatic, not cold, just aware. Because energy, it's not endless. And sometimes we don't notice we're giving away the one drop we needed to hug someone we love, to laugh a little longer, to show up fully for a moment that actually mattered. Even if that someone is you. So, what's it for you? What's quietly costing you what you'd rather give to someone or something that deserves your best? Start there. You don't need to fix everything. Just stop spending energy where you feel yourself fading.